officiating, what's been the conversation there, certainly in light of the face of the league essentially calling out officiating, whether that was right or wrong, at the end of the Bills-Chiefs game. This has been at least something, and Mahomes talking about it like this. Yeah. Again, he's since said something otherwise about what he was saying after the game, but he is giving voice to what a lot of fans are saying about the officiating. So,
all right, well, let's separate the two. Can you give me 1 minute to go off on this? Because
Albert Breer, like the floor is yours, sir. Go for it.
But you saw that view. Like, I think a fan shot it, right? Like the ground level view, right? Mm-hmm. Go back and watch that, right? And the ref pulls the flag right away and throws it. Okay. So for all the people that are like, they're taking away such a great play, what do you want the ref to do in that situation? Do you want them to like huddle up and say, you know what, he was offsides, but that was one heck of a play? Like, is that what we're looking for? Like, no. I mean, he threw the flag. You know what I mean? Like, the flag was on the ground. You're not going to pick it up because, like, that was a great play. So
he was probably oh my God, that was one of the most incredible plays. Well, wait till I buzzkill the rest of this stadium. that might have been it. You know, I mean, it might have been like, oh no, this is going to really create a problem for Sheffers. And I'm sure the official, knows that Sheffers is a 4-letter word in Kansas City already. You know, so that's a point well taken. Totally,
I mean, so yeah. In this specific situation, I think Andy and Patrick, their words afterwards reflected that. Like, I think that after they had a cooling down, like, they reflected that. I think Patrick, spoke with emotion after the game, and I think Andy was just taking up for his players. Like, I think that was the long and short of it. And then they come back the next day and kind of amend what they said. Officiating is certainly a question that a lot of owners, a lot of the top executives here are talking about. I don't think it was specifically on the agenda, but it's something that is being addressed in the hallways and the meeting rooms and everywhere else here. And I do think, it's something that the coaches have really taken up as an issue. And I can remember 4 or 5 years ago talking to the people on the Madden committee, and Andy Reid's chaired the Madden committee forever, about the idea of adding a sky judge and having some level of oversight from above. So the officiating crews on the field can have the same benefit that all of us sitting at home on the couch have, which is like 12 or 13 different angles in a high definition of every single play. And so I think that discussion reopens more officially when the competition committee meets at the combine, and then going into the annual meeting in March. And I can promise you that it's not something that there's no whistling by the graveyard on this right now. Now, that doesn't mean there's going to be significant change, but a lot of powerful people are talking about it.
Well, I mean, I think the change has got to come from the competition committee, from the coaches themselves. I really believe that, because, we had Dean Blandino here a couple weeks ago, right, guys, from Fox Sports, and former head of NFL refs, Dean Blandino, was here. He used a great analogy about how replay is not the complete fix here, saying that back in the day, you used to be able to back your car up out of your driveway, in a way, the old-fashioned way, looking over your shoulder. Now you're used to all the bells and whistles to beep if you're close to something, and you got this camera to help you go back there. And the officials are now sometimes relying on all of those bells and whistles to get the calls right, and they're just going to lay back and just let the replay come in and eventually and fix it, and not making the immediate calls, and then that actually becomes a problem. And so the answer to that could be as well, point. It was a great point. And so he said that analogy, but he also said, when it all comes down to it, viewership's through the roof. So a lot of owners might be like, okay, officiating, it might get me one day and it might get my opponent one day, but eventually when it all comes down to it, the bottom line is fine. That's why it's got to be on the coaches to come and correct and fix this thing in a certain way. I don't know what it is to be done. I don't think it's to make them full-time, because Dean was explaining they are full-time during the season anyway. And I also would understand their retort would be, so we suck, right? You think we suck, fans think we suck, and then we actually get a call right, and the face of the NFL is calling us out for getting the call right, because we shouldn't have called it. And they're probably like, what the hell?
I mean, I just think, so my opinion on this, Rich, is like, I don't I think part of the problem is that we can see more, right? Like I think it's a huge part of the problem is that we can see stuff that because of, again, the quality of television, because of the amount of cameras, because of the pseudo journalists that are sitting in the stands with their phones, like we can see so much more than we could 25 years ago, and that's put a real onus on the officials to get every single little thing right, and that's not fair either. I just think, like, and this is a point that so many coaches have made to me, and they actually took their own straw poll a few years ago and trying to get a sky judge put in. I think it was 2019, and it was 32-0, right? And it, like, why wouldn't we give that benefit to the officials? Why isn't there an official upstairs? And it doesn't need, and it wouldn't be up there to change the 55-45 calls. What it would be up there for is the 90-10 calls, and buzz down. And you could say to the head referee, pick up the flag or drop the flag, or I saw that. And people say, well, that would slow down the game. No, it'll speed the game up because the play clock will govern everything. If it's obvious, you'll see it in the first 15 seconds. If it's not, you know what, then like you just play on, and that's the flow of the game. And I don't know, like I think that this is something that they really, again, need to look at and trying to find a way to use the technology more effectively. It's the same sort of thing as, like, you still have two sticks and a chain, marking first downs when you could, I mean, it's sort of that,
Exactly.
So I just think the technology's there. They need to figure out a way to use it way more efficiently than they are right now. And I think those answers are out there if they just go and look for them. And that's all that the coaches really want.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.